Hello everybody, welcome to Weighted to Win. On this Thursday we're at the Vaal racetrack. I trust it's all been a good week so far. For you it's been relatively quiet on the local front, of course, with a couple of days no South African racing, but we're back now and look forward to this afternoon's racing. We're at Weighted to Win on Twitter, otherwise at 4racing.tv. We've got a WhatsApp number, you can join us as well. I look forward to communicating with you on an ongoing basis. Let's get straight into the action now with Darren Burrows and Daryl Marie. They'll join me. Darren, very good to chat with you again. Let's talk about the first, where the horse in the red, Misty Cliffs, at 7-10. I've had a sort of a preview of your bipot, you guys, and I see you're looking to beat it.
Well, I wouldn't be rushing out to take 7-10. There's no value in the price. She may be the horse to beat, but, on a line of form with Silk Garden, she beat Silk Garden 4 lengths last time out, and now Silk Garden's got a 4 kilo, better off 4 kilos and a 1 draw. So I don't think there's going to be much separating numbers 1 and 2. And of the rest, being a maiden handicap, I thought a horse like Up the Irish and Green Bubbles can get into the action.
Okay, so there are a few here in the race, I guess. Daryl, good to chat with you too. Welcome back. He's right, Darren's right. It's a maiden handicap, and that's why you're hearing horses in terms of receiving weight and giving weight. Big difference in a plated race normally, but there's a handicap now. What do you make of the favourite?
Yeah, like Darren touched on, there's no value in the current price of the favourites. Therefore, we have to look where the value lies, Clyde. And the anti-post market, they priced up 12-1 Green Bubbles. I thought that represented a lot of value. She's only got 52.5 to shoulder. Clyde, her best run to date has been around the bend. 2 subsequent runs have been up the straight. She may be better around the bend. And more importantly, have a look at her penultimate start. She was reported to have respiratory noises. I see the tongue tie gets fitted. She's well drawn. That has to indicate that she will improve on her recent form. So the value's gone, but she certainly has to be included into all bets, along with the likes of number 3 Outlaw. Now, prior to her latest start, Andrew Fortune came on air, or the Fortune Yard came on air and said she won't retire a one-time winner. They think she does have some ability, and back around the bend, she's going to go forward. Another one that has to be included in trifectas and quartets.
Okay. So we're getting, I guess, a few runners in the race in terms of the bipot. Let's get straight to our bipot numbers in this race. They are backing this horse Green Bubbles, and we're going 1, 2, 3, 7 in the first leg of the pot. Bipot anyway, by 1 and 3, by 4 and 5, by 1 and 5, by 3, 5, 8, by 1, 2, 3, 7. It's a 384 Rand bipot. So another handicap we faced with here, the maiden class field. And in this particular event, let's have a look at how they're betting from World Sports Betting this morning at about 10 o'clock. I've got Pateka, top of the boards at 14-10 with Big 5, who's 2-1, 9-2 about 5 ships at sea, and 11-2 about the 2. So they're all drifting really, nothing going on in the race. And I don't know how much more confidence or how much more confident one can be anymore with a horse like Pateka or Big 5. And it's not a strong race either, Darren.
It's not a strong race, but I'm very strong on Pateka. Now, he's a horse that doesn't stay, and they tried him over a mile, they tried him 2,000 meters, and he failed to fire the final 200 meters. If you go back to his last start over 1,400 meters, where he ran third to Beechhurst, we saw 5 direct winners out of that race. So he should have come out the maidens by now. I would give him another chance back in trip. So I'm going pretty strong with Pateka to win race 2.
Okay, you're big on Pateka. Daryl, let's talk to you about the race. Also big on Pateka.
Pateka's camp, Clyde. The reason why I fancy him is I think he may be a better turf horse.
Mm-hmm.
And like Darren touched on, if you go back to his latest turf run, which was over a similar distance, that 2nd, 4th, 5th, 6th horses have all subsequently come out and won, and he finished 3rd on that occasion.
Okay.
If he reproduces a similar effort to what he did on that day, he'll take some beating. His natural danger is number 3, Big 5. He's recorded 3 seconds in a row. He's obviously in a good space. He tends to lose a length or 2 at the start, which will give a Pateka an advantage and possibly first run on him. And they're both limited sourced, so maybe Pateka can hold him at bay. Barring that, I think they've got their work cut out. Horse like Ships at Sea did improve with the tongue tie last time out. It did happen to be in a handicap, but I'm not overly convinced with the chasing Mavericks form line.
Okay.
So Pateka from Big Five.
Big Pateka is the one to beat in the second race. Not a strong race. Horses they're not too good, all of these. They try their best, but they're not too good. I think, let's be honest about it. Let's get the place accumulator up. Get straight into the action. 1 and 3, by 4 and 5, by 1 and 5, by 3, 5, 8, by 1, 2, 3, 7, by banker 1, by 3, 7, 8, 9. That's the place accumulator. It's a 384 Rand cost. And let's get through leg 1. On to race number 3. This is over 1,200 metres and 13 to 10 about William the Fighter, number 5 on the card from the Paul Peters stable. 14 to 10 about Texas Red, Ash Fortune's runner. They've got a few in the race here. 7 to 2 about this horse, Herzogi. What do you know about that, Darren?
I don't know too much about it. Touching on Herzogi, it was a fair maiden. It wasn't a juvenile plate against horses like Mercantor and Ridge Runner. So open to further improvement. And then the two favourites, William the Fighter, I thought a bit disappointing last time out. That was over the 1,000. He's back over 12. In this type of company, he should be right there. And then Texas Red also. He came off the bit early last time out and he stayed on very late for third, but he was well beaten. But in this type of company, he's also got to be involved.
Okay, let me get an idea from Daryl as to what we do in the race. It's a horse race or what?
I think so. I think Herzogi needs a mile. Maybe watch her next time out against her own sex. One more run under the belt, and then you could possibly follow her. Clyde, I do believe it lies between the top two in the betting. And judged on the temperament, I'm going to be leaning towards Texas Red because William the Fighter is very misbehaved beyond the pens. He doesn't want to load. He's very unruly, and I think possibly needs to be gelded. But on a line through Varticus, there's very little separating himself and Texas Red.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if you recall the preview with regards to Texas Red last time out on Track Talk. The stable said whatever beats him will win.
Yes.
So they expected him to go very close on that occasion. He ran below par.
Well,
so he's better than that. Let's just say that. And it is a limited bunch that he's taking on over here. But based on their behaviour, I'm leaning towards Texas Red over William the Fighter.
All right. Well, we're going to put a pick 6 up. Let's put it up now and take a look at it. And we're going the first leg 4, 5, 8, by 1 and 5, by 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then Darren Burrows, you got a banker later on in this pick 6.
I've bankered a horse dropping in class, Fast Love, in the 5th leg. I think he'll take all the beating. His last 5 or 6 runs have been in plated races. And if you look what he's taken on, I'm quite surprised to see him at around 5 to 2 in the betting.
Okay, well, we've got the last leg at 2, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's 14.40 or 144 Rand for 10% or 15 Rand for 1%. You're back with us. Good. Welcome. Race 4. This is the Telebet 0861 000 822. If you want to phone a bet in, it's a handicap at the 66 level. And let me look at the market here. What's going on? Jay Somers got the mover here. Gavin Larina's riding. Gavin been riding really well. Very unlucky the other day at Turfentine, the last race, unfortunately for him. But Daryl Marie was very big on the winner, Southern Blaze, that day. 15 to 20 is the price about Demover. Liverpool Legends, the second choice at 7 to 2. Smiley Rivers, 11 to 2. 6 to 1 about Yanni Borman's horse. And then 14 to 1 and better about the others. I don't think Joey, when he looks at a horse like Demover, would say, let's take the 6 or 7 to 10. But perhaps the field very weak, Darren.
It's not a strong race, the field's cut up to 6 runners. Now, Demova could get her own ways up front. She could get cheap fractions and just keep on rolling. But there is a horse with a big rating drop, Smiley River. She loves the classic track. Her course and distance, 2 wins from 6 starts. Her rating's down to a 66. I think she's going to go very close. So I see the race between Smiley River and Demova. I don't see too much else troubling them.
Yeah. Well, you're talking about that horse, Smiley River. I see they're backing it. Daryl, they're backing this horse, Smiley River. What price is it now? It's shortened from 6 to 1 to 11 to 2 this morning at 10 o'clock.
Yeah, Clyde, what's the name of this race?
It's a phone the bet.
Sure. When last did you phone a bet through?
Well, no, I do it often.
I remember been at in high school and going to the ticky
Well,
box.
you're digital now.
Yes, we're
Yes.
digital now. That
You've moved
brings
with the
back
times.
good memories, eh? Very
The good thing is that there's an opportunity to bet anyway. You've got a new way of scanning codes now. You can go online, you can dial, phone the bet. There's lots of ways. No excuses not to get on, right?
Yes, we're fine nowadays.
All right, well, let's talk about it. What do we do here now that you're...
Smiley River, this is her track, Claude.
Sorry, what?
This is her track.
Okay, Smiley
She's
River.
much better, yeah. I know she's got 5 lengths to find, but she's capable in a small field. She's going to be languishing behind and she can turn it on. Wouldn't be surprised to see her reverse that form with Demover. Darren touched on Demover. Really looks like she's going to get her own fractions up front. She likes to go handy and she's been close up recently, and despite that, she's dropped another 3 pounds. So she's off a very competitive mark. And then you got the likes of Liverpool Legend. She hasn't won in 576 days. She's not one to rely on, but in a small field, she could flash up. The Mover and Smiley River to fight it out.
That's the story from the boys here on Waiter to Win. We're going to go straight up to our jackpots now. Let's put that up for you. And jackpot 1, they're going 1, 2, 5. So the top 3 in the market. Second leg, they're going 1, 2, 3, 5, 7, 8, 11. Third leg, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And you've heard about the banker later on already. That horse, Fast Love. So Muzieni has ridden over 2,000 winners in his career. Now he's on the favourite, the early favourite, Fantasy Flower for Lucky Hoodalakis. They're 7-2. Quest from Afar is the second choice at 4-1. 9-2 about Lollapalooza and 5-1 about Super Secret. Then I see they're drifting this horse. Vickles gone from 9-2 to 11-2. If they're backing anything, Darren, they're backing a horse called Time for That from Lucille Kruger's stable. Number 6 on the card. You give it a chance?
Not for me in this lineup, Clyde. I know she did just run the other day. She did run unplaced over the weekend. But I thought Fantasy Flower can follow up in this company. Last time out was stepped up to a mile, blinkers removed, and she won a good race. She beat Dancing Arabian just under half a length, and Dancing Arabian came out to win her very next start. So there's been one runner, one winner from the form line. Angel's Wish was only beaten a length by her last time out. She's open to further improvement. And then touching on a horse like Quest from Afar, I still believe she's a 1,400-meter horse, even though she won a maiden over a mile from start to finish last time out. She could follow up in this type of company, but I'm still waiting for this filly to run over 1,400 meters.
Okay, well, we'll wait for that day too. We'll join you in waiting. Daryl, your take on the race?
Yes, Clyde, let's touch on Quest from Afar, number 3. We all know that she's been very costly to follow in the past, but you know, Clyde, she came to the track with a reputation for a reason, because she had really been putting up good work back at home. And Calvin got on really well with her last time out. She didn't tear away with him. With a little bit of confidence under her belt now, she could go on with it. I wouldn't be surprised. I know that the field that she beat last time out was very, very limited. But, you know, there's several in here that are certainly not going to Hollywood themselves. So she could go back-to-back, certainly in a field like this. Fantasy Flower, now we tipped her last time out. Her form in a mile prior to her win was decent. So she won with a bit in hand. But I think a filly like number 11, Petunia, who might have needed it on that occasion, and she didn't have cover in that race. Now, there is a form update with her. She ran 3 lengths behind Princess Philippa, and she's having a peak run. She's got a 1 draw. I think a nice outsider to include into your trifectas and quartets.
Okay, we won't leave it out. Let's put our bet up. They've got a jackpot 2. Here it is. First leg. Daryl, this is yours. You want to take us through it?
Yes, Clyde, the first leg, I have included the scratching over there, number 5. So it's 3, 5, 7, 8, 11 by 1, 2, 3, 7. I've also banked at number 1, Fast Love. And the last leg, I've gone 5 horses, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
3, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Sorry, Clyde.
Yeah.
3, 6, 7, 8, 9. That cost is 100 Rand for a full unit.
On to the classified stakes race, number 6 on the card. Here in the market, they got the horse Stormy Lass as favourites at 3-1. Number 4, Daisy Buchanan, second choice at 7-2. 4-1, the 5, Clean Living. 5-1, Pindi Mzala. We've got a rerun of Pindi Mzala. We'll show you that. And I'd imagine, Darren, that's the reason you've chosen, because you like it?
I do like Pindi Mzala. You know, you can put a line through his penultimate start. That was in the yielding going at Scottsville. We never really got into the hunt. But if you go 3 runs back, he only got beat ahead in a classified stakes behind Integrate. And last time out, he was narrowly beaten by Spielberg, a length and a half. He had horses like Stormy Sea, a nose in front of him, and he had Trust the Fire, a nose behind him. So there's not much at all separating numbers 2, 3, and 6. We'll watch the replay of those 3 runners in that race. And then you've got to throw in a horse like Stormy Lass of the fillies.
Okay, Stormy Lass, we won't leave it out, we'll put it into the play. Don't leave it out of your action. What do you like?
Yes, Clyde, a classified stakes, and it favours the fairest sex of the year. I think the top 4 or 5 best weighted are all fillies and mares, or fillies or
The victory
mares.
should come from there, right?
And I've got 4 horses in my personal jackpot, and not one of them fall under that category. So I'm
you've got
playing
one of
to
the
beat them.
boys.
Yeah.
Right, who's the boys?
Well, Clyde, I think Baron Boitis has got 2 nice roughies over here that have to be included. The first one being number 1, Admiralty Arch. Now, go back to that run behind Irfan's Boy. I think he's a 1.5 kilos better off for a length and 3/4 beating by Stormy Seas. Nice roughie to include. Edgar Town, number 7, Clyde. His ratings plummeted from a 90 to a 62, and despite that, he's only £4 best or out with the best weighted over here. On that Irfan's run, 3.5 kilograms better off for a 3-length beating, puts him into contention. And then I liked the way Stormy Seas finished his latest race off. Please take note that Cabello Matugnani now takes the ride. If he reproduces a similar effort, I think he'll be right there at the finish.
Okay. Well, Cabello riding very well at the moment, so make a note that he's on Stormy Seas now. We have got a bet up for you, and this is what we recommend you guys do. We're going 1, 2, 3, and 7, include some of Daryl's outsiders, a horse like Edgar Town, for example. And we've got that rerun. Darren likes Pindi Mzala, so we're going to show you the last time Pindi Mzala ran, who's in the blue cap.
In the blue cap. And Stormy Seas is right on the outside with the red cap, Clyde.
Yeah, so watch those 2. Let's see. Pindi Mzala now starts to hang under pressure. And Stormy Seas in the red, gaining in quickly. And the 2 come together again today. Back with us now. Let's get back into the action now. Race number 7. We're going into our banker of the day. Why I say that? Well, if you've been watching all day, the guys have been talking about this horse Fast Love from the jump. And this is Johan Janssen van Vieren stable with Gavin Arena. They're at 5-2 or thereabouts. But Jinquin, I thought was quite impressive. Darren, the favourite at 16-10.
Well, touching on Jinquin, she is a 3-year-old filly. She just won her maiden. And you go to Fast Love. He's run behind Smorgasbord, Sent by Destiny, Supreme Warrior, Castle Town, Team Gold, and Sir Michael. If you put any of those runners in this type of race, they would start 3-10 on. So for that reason, back in a handicap, I thought Fast Love the horse to beat, and we have taken a chance and said this is our best on the card.
Okay, what is she getting? 7 kilos or something? What's she getting?
7.5.
Not enough.
Not today. I don't think so, Clyde. As she's likely raced, she's unexposed and could have a lot more to offer. But I think she's biting off more than she can chew at this stage of her career. Fast Love is decent on his day. That stable's not sending out many runners, but the ones that they have saddled up are performing extremely well. Darren's touched on the competition he's faced in the past, Clyde. Much, much stronger. Even in his last outing, we saw Ocean Warrior and Barney's Pride come to win from there. Now, Clyde, he goes handy. He's been trying further recently, and he just doesn't round his races off. So I think this might be a winning move coming back in trip. And, barring Jinquin, there's nothing else in the race. Lulu's Boy is £5 under sufferance. The other one is £9. Muzi and his mount. So I think this is a perfect opportunity, and I'm also surprised to see he's not favourite. In my opinion, there's a lot of value about his current price.
Okay, well, that was 5-2 when we recorded it this morning. Those that are watching it on our platforms, by the time the race time comes, I would imagine the odds have been slashed by now. But let's have a look at the Fast Love rerun. And as you know, the boys are labelling that. And this is when Fast Love ran to Team Gold. And on this occasion, Gavin Arena rode and is in the blue cap with those stars on the sleeves. Team Gold is on the right-hand side, the winner. And then there's that horse Twice as Splendid who starts to run on in there. Full House is in there as well in the black sleeves and the black cap. If you want to watch that, is on the inside. But I noticed Fast Love now tries to stay with it the last 100, Daryl.
Yes, Clyde, they didn't go very quick in the early stages of this race, and Team Gold made a winning move, got first run on Fast Love. But, you can see he fought all the way down to the wire over there.
Yeah, carried all the way through. So that's going to be our one to beat. We're going with this horse. Fast Love, that's the one with the red body and the white sleeves. Eighth and final, Franny Bronco stable is flying at the moment, and they've got this horse coming in hot, 33-10, has drifted in the market. Johnny Dogs, the second choice at 4-1 for Robin Klaasen. Franny's got the other horse, Silly Fella, 9-2 at the moment. The money's for this horse, Bloomington, from Fabian Habib's stable that Muzieni's riding. Like it, Darren?
I haven't included Bloomington into my play. I thought an open race, numbers 2, Full House. If he wasn't drawn deep, he would have been one of my leading lights with the 4-kilo claim. In Cahoots has to have a chance. The Broncos runners coming in hot, and Silly Fella, they're in great form at the moment and can't be ignored. And then you've got a course and distance specialist, Castle Corner, who's had 2 wins from 3 starts over course and distance. So he could bounce back. And then the recent maiden winner, Johnny Dogs, won really convincingly last time out and also can't be ignored.
Yeah, it's an interesting race when you look at it. I mean, there are a few in here. Castle Corner, you mentioned, got to have a chance. Full House, any price. I see that you can get 20-1 about that horse. Must have some sort of chance.
You can take the 20-1, Claude. I'm not going to beat.
Okay.
I think we've got him in our exotic, so it will be a great result for us.
Yeah.
But I've narrowed it down to 2 runners. I thought there was a lot of value in Bloomington's anti-post price. Lost his jock last time out. Penultimate start was on the poly track. He loves this distance, got a good draw, good jock, riding with a lot of confidence. There's a lot in his favour. So I think he'll be thereabouts. And then Castle Corner, Darren touched on. He's a track and trip specialist. I think 3 starts for 2 wins. Showed improvement last time out. The form line has been franked with Vanderbilt winning again. What was Vanderbilt what?
Vanderbilt.
And what inside that last 50?
Wat
Watvoorus, yeah.
Watvoorus. Vanderbilt, Watvoorus.
Castle Corner won't be in 4, but he'll be coming late. He'll be coming, flashing up late.
Let's hope he can...
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So Bloomington and Castle Corner for me. That's some value.
Bloomington, Castle Corner. All right, so there we go. This is what we're going to do in the last race. We're taking some exactas. We're going 3, 7, 8, 9. But there are a couple of shrewdies in here that you've got to listen out for and make sure you put it in the play. Hopefully you heard that preview. 3, 7, 8, 9. That's the plan, the 8th race.